thing to start out on.
That's how we have to start the session. Hello, everyone.
And hopefully we don't have the same technical difficulties we had last time.
Well, your net's been a bit more stable today, so hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
We will be ready to rage against the dying light.
I don't know,
I-
it'd be pretty gay.
I would think Rage Against the Machine would be more fitting, but okay.
The dying light that is the bars of your internet slowly going down.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna start link bombing now.
Yeah.
The idea of Brimstone being any class that requires charisma is funny. But
Because he's just so flat-faced.
specifically Bard. His vicious mockery is just strums once on a fucking lute and just fuck you.
Just boom. Fuck you.
Yeah, there's no insult. It's nothing creative. It's just fuck you. There's like, fine, fuck you then. I mean, technically, I could have given him vicious mockery because he's feral tiefling, but
Could have been a devil's tongue.
yeah, but it goes off charisma.
You still insult a man.
Yeah, that's true.
But usually you insult people by shooting them in the thigh.
Yeah.
I'm just reminded of the Cards Against Humanity pair when talking about insulting. If God did not want us to enjoy not having sex, he wouldn't have created you.
Perfect.
I'm just gonna grab a drink right quick before we start.
Everyone get your sips! And don't forget to go ahead and go to the bathroom, because I will forget about the break.
That's why I'm here, to remind you and be like, hey, bio break time, please.
Yeah.
Callie, it's not your dinner time yet. Stop staring at me like that.
Oh, she being a demanding little kitty cat.
She's just sitting there going, Daddy, I want food. I want food now.
Father, I demand the munch. Give me the munch.
Did we ever get a map?
I think we're just working off of the main world map right now.
No, I mean, did the party ever get a map?
I don't believe so, no.
Yeah. I didn't think so. Something we've just constantly forgotten to get before we leave again.
Shit. Thanks, Nick.
Oh, what would Fozy do for downtime?
Drugs.
Shall we start introductions?
We got all the link bombing done.
You can go ahead and do introductions. Yes, someone just walked in for a second.
Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Armored Hunter. And yeah, things are okay. I have recovered.
Yee. Hi, I'm the Danny Boop. I do the strem. I do the stress. But things are generally okay with me, so ta-da!
I am Feltros. I am always here.
Even when we tell him no, he's always here.
You cannot escape me.
I'm the DM.
I am Methosia. I am tired.
And we are down an Andy this week because she is just not feeling up to snuff, so. Andy, if you're watching, we miss you and we hope you get to feeling better.
Yes. Get well soon, Andy. So, shall we start, Mr. DM? Oh, seems like he's busy. Riot!
No.
Darn.
Oh my.
No riot.
Eh. Well, I'm pretty darn proud, just to have something to brag about and fill time. I'm pretty darn proud of the fact that I finished a white dragon not too long ago.
And it looks great.
Stop feeling pride in your work. We're starting.
Okay.
I had to wait for a person to leave.
I was just trying to fill time for you, dude.
Oh, good. You can continue bragging.
But yeah, I've decided to work on a project of I'm wanting to make at least all of the chromatic dragons from D&D. And I decided to start with the white dragon because why not start with the most animalistic?
Flower dragon.
Yeah, and I got him done, and the only thing I wish I could do better would be use slit pupil eyes instead of round pupiled eyes, but I think he came out kind of awesome.
Alright then. Alright, is everyone ready?
Yeah.
Yee.
Gonna get a yee yee?
Yeah.
Alright then.
No.
I'll force some optimism into you yet! I'll use this funnel. Alright. Anyways, last time on the Scattered Realms, session 31. Sorry, someone's walking into my room again.
Oh no. And it was session 32 was our last session, by the way.
Darn you interruptive family members. That's why I moved out.
I
Hello,
forgot to
Nolan.
change the
Not
session
really.
number in the session recap. Sue me. Actually, don't, because I don't have very much money. Or any legal protection.
And that's also your sister.
You could sue your family.
I'm
I
not
know.
going to.
Yeah,
Anyways.
that's just anyways.
Last time on the Scattered Realms, Session 32, our band of intrepid adventurers, Kenta the Seblusis Bard, Dravinche the Human Dancer, Morgan the Hexblade Warlock, Failsy the Sorcerer, and Brimstone, the Man with a Sweet Tooth. The party awoke from their tense evening events to find a mysterious man sitting among them, sitting along with them at their camp. A man one member of the party recognized, the very god Graynham himself. In the flesh, in their camp. Yeah. A fairly in-depth discussion followed. Graynham ended up thanking the party for alerting him and his following to this location, as if they had not, the seals in place would have not lasted much longer, and should it have broken, that would have not been good for the world at large. Then Dravinche had yet another private conversation with the god. Seriously, this man attracts all walks of life, high and low. And through an honest vow, was set to be granted some form of boon from Graynham to aid them in their travels. And so we pick back up with the party, as a robed Vivian stares down at them approaching, clearly ready to ground at least one, if not more of them. So yeah, pretty much the entire time you guys are making your way up the spiral that leads up the Emerald Plateau, you just see Vivian as you are walking around one edge of the spiral, just waiting. Just waiting. It's like every time you make a revolution, she's there.
Morrigan is being uncharacteristically quiet. With that, like, she's normally not very talkative, but she's being, like, deathly quiet, and she's not saying anything. She's basically staring at the ground, not wanting to look up.
Alright then.
Those looks up some waves.
You receive no wave back. She is in full accusatory mom mode.
I have done literally nothing wrong.
That's not true.
Is she close enough for us to actually talk to her?
After you guys have gone about halfway up the plateaus, you could start shouting at her. But if you want to get to the point where you're actually, like, in normal, like, vocal range with her, yeah, you'd be, if we want to just skip to that point of the accusatory stare, we can get to that point of the accusatory stare as you guys are coming up the final ramp towards the entrance of the plateau.
Hey, Dravinja,
Yes.
you got that teleporter on hand?
Well, I do. I don't think it'll help us out right now.
Yeah, that one won't save you.
As the group approaches closer to her, Da Vinci is just gonna hold up two fingers, like, hold on a second. Can we at least get to the house before you start tearing us to pieces?
She starts walking towards your guys' group. She walks past all of you, goes straight to Keta, grabs one of her tiny little nubby horns, and starts walking her into the city. The classic way you'd see, like, a parent grab their child's ear. She's just grabbing one of Keta's tiny little horns. She doesn't say a word to any of you.
Morgan actually visibly winces at that. but just starts following.
Bowsy cringes.
Da Vinci just has an expression of, like, I did not expect that. I both did and did not expect it to go that.
You can hear in the distance her essentially telling Keta that she is going to be grounded for a while. Like, despite your friends needing you, you are grounded. There is no way around that.
Seems like that's another thing that we'll have to try to talk her out of.
I should. I'm not sure what to do right now.
Let's get the cart back.
Acting as if she's in the library again.
And we've got at least a few days, or a day or two before we get our assistance. And we'll have to somehow talk Vivian down. I don't know, Brimstone, you know her better than I do. How difficult is that?
More or less depends on what you're trying to talk her down from.
How bad of an impression? Like, I'm trying to gauge this as a player to see how Brimstone would react as a character. It doesn't seem like
what specifically?
just thinking about how easy it'll be to try to get Vivian to relent on this.
Make an insight check.
Okay.
Insight check to see how mad Vivian is. I'll give you advantage. Because Brimstone's good at recognizing when Vivian is mad.
Yeah, because it's usually recognizing him. Good thing I had advantage.
Yeah.
The natural one, she'll get over it in an hour. But no.
The natural one is more just, I don't want to think about that.
Natural one is Vietnam flashbacks.
We are not seeing Keta ever again. Andy, need to reroll.
No, you're thinking about it, Brimstone. Vivian, you've seen her get really mad. You saw Vivian just now. She didn't explicitly seem mad. She seemed worried. Which, in a way, is worse because you're not sure how that's going to make her rethink your all's previous arrangement of letting Keta continue to travel. But it's probably just one of those things where she needs some time to calm down. She got visited by, you know for a fact, she got visited by her father, which is rare.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't a happy visit.
No, it was a very professional visit.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna want to give her at least a day. I wouldn't say she's exactly mad. If she was mad, she'd be talking to Celestial to give me a fucking headache. I mean, considering what we just experienced, and the fact that, you know, she's his kid, I'm sure that he visited her before he came to us.
And probably made her worry more.
Probably. I guess I'm gonna give it just a couple of days.
Does Brimstone get a headache from failing?
No.
No, because it's not speaking. just a sound.
You can't blow raspberries in a language.
Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
Damn.
I. Well, it's not like we had to. We were going to leave immediately.
Nah.
Hmm. But as for you, Lee, you're a free man.
I'm sure they're not gonna stop you from seeing Keta if that's what you want. Wait.
You know, I am worried about that, but that's not explicitly what I'm worried about. But I'll figure it out. I think I'm gonna go check on the cart.
Alright.
Okay. Yeah, get the card checked in. I'm gonna be heading off to the house, or Keta's house, and Shirinche would kind of signal to come in a bit closer.
To who specifically?
Just to anyone who's
The group in general.
the group.
Lee immediately squats down next to you.
Who's this hoax?
Bells gets uncomfortably close.
So, as far as I know, my ability to transport is once a day, and on our way back, I've been thinking if we end up going this long way around and possibly never get back to the shore where we came from, doesn't feel right to be leaving Elavi and
Treba.
Treba behind. We brought them here.
So you want to take him back to the port we landed on?
Sorry, could you repeat that?
So you want to take him back to the port that we landed at, or?
Well, they would likely have an item relating to the castaway.
That's fair.
So I was thinking of offering them a transport back, and then using my ball I got from Daniel Jack, come back here tomorrow. I just wanted to run. I want to run this by you all, so you know that. Unless there's some reason you can think of that I shouldn't do this.
Other than the fact that it's teleportation, you'll probably die.
No, you're fine. I just had a thought.
What?
It's not important. Keep going.
Then I won't be around for tonight, and I'll be back tomorrow.
So when you're saying you're going to jump to... Where are you going anyway? Hornport?
Sorry, I didn't quite catch that last bit.
Which port are you going to?
Well, trying to remember. I thought
Where you guys made port at last time, and where the other half of the Castaway was at I-port.
I-port, that's it. For some reason I didn't have it written down. No. Well, I would imagine that the Castaway, possibly both halves at this point, would be over in I-port. That's where we landed. I don't plan to do too much there, just get them there and then come back after a night's rest.
I wonder if there's a port authority there.
Why?
That and a merchant guild.
There'd be no reason why there wouldn't be. I-port is one of the... It's not the largest trading port, but it is a fairly important trading port. The largest, of course, is Hornport, because that's where the wave treaders set out from.
Can I come with? Also, we might need to take Madam.
You're thinking about selling that meteor, aren't you?
Well, I'm pretty sure we can't have it sitting between Madame Elway's legs for a very long time.
I can hold it for a while.
Ah!
Hello, children.
Why does that scare you?
It just always somehow catches me off guard.
Yeah, this time you didn't really even see where she walked out of. She just sort of appeared next to you.
Yeah, I guess I've been desensitized. It's just being there.
She, like, from all you can tell, she, like, walked out from behind Lee.
I mean, that makes sense.
Mm.
Considering, even with her robe, she's still relatively slender. Especially when compared to Lee.
Lee's a beefy boy.
He's a big boy.
It would be interesting to return to the ports.
Well,
I didn't really get to look around very much on my first visit.
if that's something you want to do, I'll have to... Well, first I need to have a discussion with LB and Treba about this.
Very well. You know how to find me. And she walks behind Lee and disappears.
Don't get how she can do that. And also, Belzy, if you're going to come along, either you need to promise not to get into trouble, or we have someone come with us to watch after you.
When do I get into trouble?
Insert Vietnam flashbacks of every single time.
To be fair, there aren't too many times to flash back to. She's not
Yeah.
usually in trouble. You guys are just worried.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. There was the time you slid down the gullet of a sandworm. You tried to shoot something that could destroy a tree in an instant.
When was that?
When we were in the forest.
Flashes back to the Guardian of the Forest. That fails
Right.
each shot.
Except,
There was
Yeah.
the time you... Continue.
yeah, during the time when I thought that thing was going to tear Keter in half.
After
You
it
know-
was calmly, slowly walking away.
It was a red wisp.
I think it worked out, so let's not dwell on it.
Mm. There was also the time you tried to shoot the crystal on the island, which I will give you that it ended up working out. Still nearly got us in trouble though.
Everything works out with me.
Yeah, but we had our way, so. I mean, if she's selling the meteorite, Elway's gonna be there anyways. Considering Failsy ain't fucking carrying that by herself.
Did you need something? Her head just pokes out from behind Lee.
Apparently, they're trying to sign you off for babysitting duty.
It's not that I'm.
Did you?
I mean, yeah, she's always there. I mean, all we gotta do is say her name and she's here, so. And you're not carrying that whole fucking meteorite by yourself, Failsy.
Well, if you do intend to sell it though, I demand a cut of it.
Of course.
It would even depend on if they would be willing to buy such a large piece of the material.
Yeah, having that much might make it less valuable.
I doubt it would make it less valuable, but it's simply the amount of coin that would come from it.
No, yeah, that's true.
True, but there are other ways that... There are more ways than just coin that can be dealt with.
That is true. Her head slowly slides back out of view.
But anyway, are you all okay with me doing this? And he looks at Morrigan.
She just kind of nods.
Okay. I'll head back to Redemption's house and check up on the two. I'll let you know. I'll let you guys know what's the decision.
Alrighty then. Oh, I popped my back.
Nice.
I'm checking some stuff, sorry. Alright, so that's where Travince is going. Where's the rest of the party going?
Furs is gonna hitch a ride because she's spotted an opportunity.
Alright. I mean, first he's just going back to Keta's house, so you guys are more or less following a good distance behind Vivian, who's giving Keta a very stern talking to, but if you pay attention at all, if you want to make a perception check.
Sure.
Absolutely from Morrigan, just because things and reasons.
Yeah.
You said it was perception?
Yeah, perception.
Da Vinci is just too focused on
8.
what the conversation will be.
Alright.
Furs is practically deaf, but she'll try.
Absolutely no wisdom.
We're all practically.
You guys don't have a lot of wisdom, or a lot of intelligence, or a lot of strength.
Well,
You're a high charisma, high dexterity party.
I
Well-
mean, Failsy and Brimstone have decent intelligence.
And same with Da Vinci.
It's still not a high intelligence party. There's no wizard or specific, or, well, Failsy kind of, but specific arcane user.
Yeah, there's no.
Fair.
And even then, Failsy's a sorcerer, not an actual arcane user.
She just also happens to be relatively intelligent.
Furs is a bookworm that doesn't really know what to do with what she knows.
Brimstone's not particularly concerned about the conversation because he pretty much knows what's happening.
You can't really hear the words, but you can at least that the amount of energy in the conversation has definitely toned down, even if you can't specifically hear the words. But yeah.
We certainly get the message of Keta done fucked up.
Yep. It's as you're following, I'm gonna just say you get the time to get a little bit of a gist of what's happening. You're getting the idea that Vivian isn't so much mad at this point as she was really worried and she is upset. And she's like trying to relay that to Keta the best she can.
It's like, you didn't even get out of our kingdom, and you.
Yeah, that's part of it. It's just like you didn't even leave the countryside before making me worried again. You get that sense. It's she's not being mad and she's not trying to be aggressive to Keta. Like even at this point, she stopped holding Keta's horn. Like that was literally just a measure to make sure Keta didn't immediately like turn into a cloud and run away.
Just Durinche's just thinking to himself, it ended up turning out better in the end that she did that, though.
Yeah. That doesn't alleviate a mother's worry, though. Alright, then. Eventually, though, you do get to the brain not worky house. I forgot the word house for a second. Anyways, you get to the house shortly after they do. Huh?
I forgot the word cat sometimes.
That's fair. It's because I'm looking stuff up while also trying to talk.
Yeah.
But you get to the house shortly after they do, and you can go ahead inside. No one stops you. You just see, as you're going past the main room, Keta is explaining what actually happened to Vivian and Redemption. Because they only got part of the story, and that's why they were so worried. So you would notice as you're like going past them to go get Elavi, that they've definitely toned down their immediate parent anger quite a bit.
If Morrigan sees that she actually does start to relax in the like very closed off body language and posture she was doing.
Yeah. Yeah, you do notice that rather easily, and knowing a very like big sister-esque character, I imagine she does sort of like hang back a little bit to try to listen to what's being said.
Yeah, well, not only big sister, but like some old childhood fears of hers cropped up with just seeing the look on Vivian's face initially.
That's fair. So yeah.
Durinche's not asking for anyone to follow him.
Yeah.
Everyone followed you though.
We have our base of operations at the house right now.
Yeah, Brimstone's not following him to talk to Elavi and Treva. Just following him to the house.
Yeah. Lee didn't follow you guys to the house though. He went to do something else.
Lee went to do Lee things.
Lee went to go check on the cart. And do other Lee things.
Yeah, yeah.
Alrighty then. But yeah, you do find Treva and Elavi. Elavi's throat, it's still bandaged, but like you do notice specifically when you guys were traveling, that bandage was almost always red. It is still bandaged, but it is not like stained red right now.
Where are they? Just in one of the rooms?
Yeah, they're just sitting in a guest room. You actually notice that when you walk in, Treva is just sort of like tuning her instrument. while Elevie is writing a letter.
Well, Dorinche would have first given a polite knock.
To which Trevor would just reply, "Come in."
Enter in.
Dorinche.
Dorinche would give a bow to the two.
Elevie just gives you a nod.
Hello, Trevor. Hello, Elevie. I'm glad to see that you seem to have recovered a lot. How are you? How goes the recovery?
Well, the injury itself is closed, though if she were to speak right now, she would probably blow her throat out again. We're keeping it wrapped up to be able to try to give it some support. That's the big downside of having a voice as powerful as hers.
That's unfortunate. Would have been nice to hear it once again.
You can feel the eye roll from Elevie. She's not looking at you at all, but you can feel the eye roll.
Just the sass radiating off the elevator.
Pretty much.
But I know I've been flirtatious before, but that isn't the point of my visit this time.
Well, at least don't flirt with her.
We
Cat got your tongue.
just more trying to find the right word. How do you two feel about getting back to the Castaway right now? Do you feel
Elevie actually turns around to look at you. I'd say we're fairly eager to.
So among our travels, I've gotten this little trick that can get us back to iPort. And I'm extending this offer because the rest of us have other travel plans in mind.
So you don't want to leave us in the wake?
It wouldn't be fair. For us to drag you out all the way here and then just leave you behind to make your own way back.
I mean, to be fair, you did already sort of give us a big help. Just motions towards Elevie. It's not like you'd be leaving us high and dry. You did your job already. We'll make sure to compensate you for that whenever we can.
That'll be greatly appreciated. But also, the sooner you can get back to the Castaway, sooner you two might be able to start the search for Jonathan.
Yeah, that's actually what we were writing about. At least what Elevie was writing about.
I'm assuming you've heard no news?
Quite the opposite, actually. We have heard news.
Oh?
Yes, it seems as though there's some signs of him along the various small inland islands around Jezebeth. But he's off doing his normal adventuring thing when he gets himself shipwrecked.
Still, the fact he's alive is wonderful news.
Elvie gives you a look. If you'd like to insight, you can. It's not a high DC.
9.
It's not a high DC.
Can I insight?
You're not there? I think he went in this room by himself. Unless you followed him. You could have followed him, but if you just haven't spoke this entire time, that's up to
Mel's
you.
just been following. She doesn't know when he plans to run off to another part of the country.
Fair enough. Doesn't want to be left behind. You can insight. Silently from the background, staring. The way Failsy do.
To there. Stares yonder from the door.
Alright, so yeah, go ahead and make an insight roll as well.
Inciting. Of course, it has to be fucking wisdom.
Yes.
15.
Alright. You both get this idea because the DC for this was not high. She speaks with her eyes very well. Jonathan's not an easy man to kill, and many things have tried. That's the immediate understanding you get from this look. So yeah. Yes, we're trying to get us back to the port, so we can get something figured out about that.
Well, before I fully extend my offer, I do have one question. Do either of you have anything from the Castaway itself? Something that you associate with the Castaway?
Treba just pulls the badge off of her little lapel. Or technically her blouse, actually. Because she wears a blouse. These little beauties. And you would recognize this is one of the pins they use to perform their large-scale bardic magic.
Okay. That might do just the trick.
If not the Castaway, at the very least this could take us back to our sisters, if that's how it works. And we're all pretty closely tied to the Castaway.
Oh, I think it'll work just fine.
Well, we're certainly ready to go whenever you are.
Okay. Now, my associate here just looks over to Failsy. And one of the other travelers, damn it, brain,
Elway?
think.
Madam Elway?
Yeah, yes, Madame Elway. Elway?
That's the weird tall one you guys are always walking around with, right?
Yes, Madame Elway.
Head slowly appears from around the corner of the doorway.
They would like to come along with. They have some business in the port.
Alright then. Alright. We can definitely do that then. If you're ready to leave, we're certainly ready to go.
Okay. Durante's gonna look at Failsy. Is there anything you'd like to bring back with you before we go?
Bring back.
As in anything you think that would sell well at Merchants Guild?
No, I go with my stuff with me.
Well, you're good, and the rest of you are Have everything you want. Can leave. Da Vinci will pull out his pocket watch and hold out his hand to Treba.
All right. She puts the small heart-shaped badge in your hand. Just stabs it right in there. No. Here you go.
Teleport us to the moon.
No. We shall leave in just a second.
All right then. Do you remember how this works?
Yes, he will open up the watch and say, while holding the associated object in his hand, left side of the wave breaker, the castaway.
All right. And you have the associated object.
Yep. Teleport spell for.
That's when we realized we fucked up and it's the right side.
That is actually a thing I have to check real quick, is which side was which.
I'm pretty sure it was the left side that was at port when we got there. It was the right side that was moored.
Yeah, but I still have to check just to be sure. Ow, my body. Because I think, off the top of my head, the left side is Elevy's side of the ship. Because the ship, whenever you guys boarded it, you boarded on Jonathan's side, which was on the right of the ship.
And it was the left side that was at the port.
No, it was the right side that was at the port, because it was Jonathan's side of the ship that was at the port.
Oops.
You guys were on the left side of the ship on the island.
Fuck!
That said, we've been on the road for a while, so they might have gotten back to port themselves.
Yeah, you guys have been traveling for several weeks.
Yeah, and they were getting that entire the entire left half over to that port as well.
Alrighty then.
We
Well-
just jumped into my little boat.
Time to make a probability roll. Because you have an associated item, so if the item works properly, then you should be teleported properly. If this rolls below a 25%, the item will work without hitch and cast a teleportation spell. If it rolls below 25%, it won't work.
Oh, okay. So there's 75% chance of it working.
Yes. Let's see. Ooh, close, but it works.
Oh,
the connection's a little weak, but still able to be made.
There's like a second where you're like, is it gonna work? And then you start feeling a doo-doo inside of the watch. Just a
all 5 of them disappear.
yeah, the watch starts ticking arrhythmically, which feels really bizarre, given that seems to control your natural rhythm to some extent. And then suddenly, and we'll get back to them in a second.
Quick aside, as the spell is going off, can I try and detect anything from it? Like,
No, because it happens in the span of 6 seconds.
okay.
You detect that it's active as you disappear.
You detect teleportation, which immediately sets your haunches on end because you're afraid of teleportation.
And maybe a bit of, rapid flesh decay, but that might just be your own paranoia.
That just might be the fact that you drank acid.
Hmm.
Anyways, so Brimstone
Very literally.
and Morgan,
Okay.
what are you two up to? And at this point, Motogun, you do notice that the argument has been calmed down. You have heard distinctly that Keta is going to be grounded for a week. There's no way around it. That is her punishment for doing something stupid and getting involved with something that could have easily gotten her killed.
That's generous.
Yes. It would have been at minimum a month if it had been something that didn't turn out to be a good thing.
Yeah, if it hadn't had ultimately good consequences.
And her being grounded essentially just means that she has to stay in the Emerald Plateau. She doesn't have to stay in the house, she has to stay in the plateau.
That's
Like
a
in
lenient
town?
grounding.
At this point, the entire city will help them watch her, so...
Brutal. Yeah, it's not like she's an invisible quotient here. Almost everybody knows who she is.
At least in this part of the city. Every lumber mill worker knows who she is. But yeah.
Every one of Bib Deer's gambling buddies.
Every single one of them. They know that she's the good luck charm.
Yeah! Bib Deer just sets her down when he's going to get a drink at poker and comes back with twice as many.
She just plays poker when he's gone. No one can read her.
Yeah, it's because she's always smiling.
Anyways, so what are you two up to? As you hear in the other room this sort of like... And then a sound.
Fuck. That's probably really good.
Well...
How's Osnick doing?
Osnig is just sort of like looking around because this is the first time he's ever been in a city.
In the house.
You know, he's been in a house before. Just the first time he's ever been in a city.
Fair.
It's the first time he's been invited into the house.
Yeah. I think is that you have no way of communicating with Osnig because you don't speak Goblin. So he occasionally will say something and you have no idea what he's saying.
Maybe Brimstone should bone up on learning Goblin.
Oh shit, yeah, I can't talk to you. Fuck. Yeah, I need to learn Goblin or you need to learn Common.
Va? You don't know if it was the word, but definitely sounded like you just went, what?
I just picture Brimstone just... Osnick like a child. Brimstone says, fuck. And then suddenly Osnick, fuck, fuck, fuck.
Fuck! In Goblin, I know this word.
This one is universal.
Fucking transcends all languages.
Very true. Alright then. But do you two not have anything specific you want to try to accomplish for the rest of the day?
I mean, didn't Morgan want to try to talk to her patron?
Yeah, I was just waiting to see if you wanted to do something first.
I don't have anything at the moment.
Okay.
Don't they have a library at the house? Maybe there's a common.
There's a study.
Primer.
So I don't have anything immediately right now. So
Brimstone.
What?
Could you
I was
repeat
saying
that?
Brimstone could go get a drink or something.
Oh. Yeah, that's true.
But while he does whatever he does, you're wanting to try Patron.
You kind of cut out there, but I assume you said that I was wanting to communicate with my patron, right?
Yeah, I was saying while Brimstone goes and does whatever he does, you want to commune with the patron.
Yes.
Alrighty then. Let me turn off the cow sounds. Because for as period appropriate as they are. Alright then.
Yeah, she. Like, after. Let's not mince words. She was totally eavesdropping.
Yep, that's fair. You were doing a concern for the tiny bard.
Yeah. And after realizing, oh, okay, it's not that serious. She was gonna want to go talk to Da Vinci, but he already dipped, so she just goes to her room.
Yeah, the guest room that you and Da Vinci have been afforded in Vivian Redemption's home. They don't have a ton of guest rooms, but they have enough for all of you to have at least one.
Mm-hmm.
And then two of us doubling up certainly helps.
Yes. The fact that Elavi and Treba are gone also helps.
Yeah.
And also the fact that Brimstone just has his own.
Yeah. But
Anyway.
you just go up to your room. It's relatively quiet. You could still somewhat hear the hustle and bustle of the city outside. Because for as much as they tried to have a relatively outskirts home constructed, it's kind of hard to escape the sound of being in a city.
Yeah.
But you're going to attempt to commune.
And she's, rather than sitting on the bed or anything like that, she sits herself down on the floor to do so.
Alright. I would like for you to tell me what you say to try to incite the attention of the Aria.
Just... What was that thing in that crystal?
Alright. And now I would like for you to make for me a charisma check.
$17.
Alright. You close your eyes and focus on that singular thought, requesting from the Aria what that stone, what that egg was. If possible, I'd like everyone else to mute themselves so there's no background noise. Just to help eliminate potential reverberation. It's not too long after when you finally sort of feel the world fall away around you. You're left once again floating in that sort of calm state where nothing physical seems to have any sense about you. And when you open your eyes, you're sitting at the edge of that familiar lake, gazing up at the moonlight. Though the feeling is different. For a change, the waters aren't calm. They're almost vibrating. And where normally the area is bathed in a sort of soft blue nighttime glow, There's almost an angered red tint to the air. You don't see any signs of the being within the sword, but you can feel its presence.
I'm only looking for answers. And if you do not want to give them, I can respect that. But I felt...
Sorry, that was accidental click.
No worries. I felt anger, fear, just so much negativity when I saw that. That whatever it was in that crystal.
There's a moment where this sort of intense redness around you, this light that's so foreign to this normally very peaceful and serene clearing, it sort of grows brighter and brighter before dulling. It slowly condenses down until you can see it forms a very familiar egg-shaped object in the middle of the lake. And the overall blue tone retakes the area. You want to know what it is?
If anything, just to understand why. Why the anger, the fear, the nervousness, I guess, I don't know.
Anger, yes. Fear, yes. I suppose some would say, at one point it was my husband. Though not by choice. Do you really want to know the story?
If you're willing to share.
You feel an unseen hand press on your back, urging you towards the water.
She will follow where she's being led to.
Alright. You're slowly, carefully almost, pushed towards the water's edge, made to kneel before it. This clearing you've seen many, many times, that you remember from your, not childhood per se, but not too many years ago, when you first found the Aria. In this exact same scene that you always see frozen in time every time you enter this strange plane. The egg that is floating over the water slowly starts to drip towards its surface. This will be painful. Can you bear it?
Well, if it's only going to be mentally painful, I think I can handle it.
The hand slowly starts to press on the top of your back now, almost urging you to lean into the water.
She does so.
Your face touches and dips below the water surface right as the egg does. And the calm field around you suddenly disappears, replaced instead by a bloody battlefield around you. And at this point, you do not have a form. You are just a viewpoint of this battle, just floating probably about 20 feet off, just taking it all in. From what perspective, you don't know what you are taking, but it is merely the perspective you have as you see hundreds of bodies of orc, goblin, human, tiefling, all the races you know, just scattered about this battlefield, broken. And there are a few bodies that even resemble the form you have seen Keta take many times. That sort of wisped form filled with strange light. But it's when you look up from those forms, those shattered bodies, that you notice something truly terrifying. In the distance, hundreds of feet away from you, a terrible black lizard just moving through the battlefield. A strange shadowed creature, not quite remembered even in this vision. Its form is slightly obscured. You can't make out details, but all you can see is this creature would have to be easily hundreds of feet long from head to tail. You just see two massive wings stretching out from its back. It's unlike any creature you've ever seen before. That was my foe. You just hear cut through the otherwise silence around you. That was Corvanus. Corvanus the Eternal. You just see towards an actual set-up fort. You don't manning it, but you just see as it takes just steps forward and just utterly destroys anything in its path. Not a life is spared, nor does it even seem to care for what it's doing. It's just acting without any remorse. It was called the Dread Tyrant. Back in the early days of the War of the Advent, it was the biggest thing between us and any chance of victory. And in truth, it only had one weakness. The scene changes and you see this creature. Its features considerably clearer now. Its head is mere feet from your perspective. It's simply staring at you. Or it's not looking at you. It's looking past you at something. But the features you can see are reptilians. You can see scales and teeth and eyes. So many eyes. But this horribly warped creature is just gazing in utter wonder at something before it. And as you turn your perspective, you see a woman who is unspeakably beautiful. And you see very familiar extending from her head. She opens her mouth and you hear no sound, but for some reason you feel at peace. And you even notice that this being, this creature filled with absolutely no remorse, it seems calm. This was when I first learned what I was meant to be. My aspect. I represented our only hope of winning the war. And all it took was a sacrifice. The scene changes again. At this point, Corvanus is still waging war, and you can see this is from the perspective of an enemy encampment of some sort of form. You can see the Arya herself in ironclad chains, being made to watch this massacre as it occurs. A strange brand seared into her neck, the only thing marring otherwise perfect skin. He made a fool's mistake. Tied his life force to mine, but I would never die. So he would never be apart from me. You see, as the night draws close on a battlefield, this creature roaring a massive gout of fire from its maw, just decimating countless hundreds. You see the Arya look up to the sky as it finally clears, and a full moon is above. I prayed to the only god that I thought could help. I prayed that they who control death could grant me death, so that he would die. The scene doesn't change, you just see the Arya the Golden, the Azmar of Hope. She is just sitting, crouched over herself, sort of crumpled, almost in the fetal position. You can't hear anything in this utter silence, but you just can feel the anguish. And oddly enough, you feel more than one presence. You only see Arya, but it feels like you're with two. He really did try to make sure that our life force would be tied. This scene, and you see hundreds of days, cycles of endlessly. You don't know how long it lasts. You have no true scale for how many years pass. As she continues praying for the same thing. Before finally, a figure in a cloak, wearing a mask, appears and extends its hand out toward. They would not kill me, but they made me an offer. Take a new form. Seal away this beast. Seal away everything that it was. And act forever as the guardian of that seal. And I agreed. You see the Arya reach up and take this figure's hand, and her skin becomes like glass. The same pale blue crystal that the moonlit Arya itself is now made of. Two lights float from that crystal. And that is where I thought it would end. But it didn't. For some reason it didn't. You see those two lights gently make their way, floating down back into the earth. Eventually, where they settle and that crystal begins to form, you see them. You see a small lake form around them. Eventually, a forest grows around it. Eventually, animals appear. And countless years pass. Many people visit that river, that little lake that runs through that clearing. But never on a full moon. And in truth, thinking back on it, there was always superstition about going there on a full moon. I don't quite remember why you were there. But the scene before you suddenly becomes that of you stepping forward from the edge of the clearing, a full moon in the sky, as that crystal is shining brightly at the lake's bottom. You found me. Exactly when I needed you to. Because his seal was breaking. And it still is. And if even a small aspect of him escapes, I don't think the gods can stop him. And suddenly you are standing back at the edge of the clearing and you pull your head from the water, gasping for air. You just feel hands gently rubbing your shoulders. Breathe, breathe.
Is that part of why I have to find that girl?
Yes. She is the daughter he forced upon me. But she is not the result of him. I hold no ire towards the child. I hold nothing but love for my daughter. But it is due to his seal's breaking that she left. And for as long as she is out, the seals will continue to leak and break.
What are you asking of me with her?
To bring me to her. I don't know what comes after, but I must see her. Can you do that for me, Morrigan?
I can, but I can't promise I'll like the outcome if it's what I think it'll be.
You can see the air around you, or almost purple tint. A concern. I don't know what will happen. I don't know what caused her to leave. But I know that I mean her no harm. And if the vision you saw was anything to read, then we are saving her from a great deal of harm.
That's what I hope is going to happen. And I'm going to hold on to that hope. I'll do what you ask me to do. Because you weren't the only one who was in need that day that I found you.
You just feel hands gently cup your cheek, and a very soft kiss be placed against your forehead. I know. And I will never stop protecting you. You are my daughter just as much as she is.
If I may ask one more thing.
There's not a vocal response, but you get the sense that you can ask.
He's still alive, isn't he? My father.
I can't answer that, because I do not know.
That seemed to be the answer I got at the Samotus Temple as he is. I don't know what I'll do if I'll run into that bastard.
Well, you can almost hear a laugh on the wind. If he means you harm, you know I won't allow that.
I've gotten stronger since last I saw him. I won't allow it either.
You've gotten so strong, Morgan. You can start to feel your connection with this place fading. If you want to say anything else, this would be your last chance for the moment.
She just looks to where she feels the presence of the Arya most strongly.
It's still directly in front of you, still holding you.
She's... Thank you for at least being honest with me.
I have no reason to lie. And it's at that moment you suddenly come back to, sort of snapping upright from where you had sort of slumped over in your crouch position or your sitting position.
Yeah, I imagine when she wakes up there's like active tears running down her face.
Yeah, you feel very dehydrated.
She just takes a minute to sit, wipe her face off, gather herself, mutter to herself in Dwarvish because it's probably about the only language she can talk to herself in that nobody's gonna understand.
I mean, you're in a room alone, anyways.
Yeah, just to be safe, she just mutters to herself in Dwarvish, just like, "Oh, this is not good," like stuff along those lines. Then once she's got herself back together, she's just gonna go get a glass of water.
It's like as you leave to go get a glass of water, Vivian happens to see you, and the clear fact that you have definitely been crying, and just like immediate mom instinct kicks in, and she like just helps you to go to the kitchen and just like gets you a glass of water and talks to you for a little bit.
Yeah, she's not gonna talk about the discussion she had with the Arya, but, other things, concerns going forward, stuff like that she'll talk about.
Yeah. And also, Keta's made it very apparent her existence is basically being a counselor. So she sees someone who's upset and she immediately sort of understands what's going on.
Yeah. Pure mom energy. But yeah, just
100% mom.
just like concerns going forward, maybe opening up a little bit about her past if Vivian would have noticed her the way she was behaving until, the conversation between her, Keta, and Redemption calmed down.
Yeah. And she listens to all of it. She doesn't... You notice a very specific thing about Vivian is that whenever she's listening, she doesn't offer any sort of comment edgewise. She just lets you talk about what's on your mind. That's a very important thing for her, is just letting a person relay what they are feeling to the best of their understanding and what is causing it before she says anything. So yeah. I'm gonna say you probably have a couple hour long discussion without even realizing it with Vivian.
Yeah.
She radiates that mom energy, yo.
Yeah.
So yeah. And you switch the music back over to Not Dark and Stormy.
If I may ask if we could go ahead and take a bio break here, because my dog is whining real hard that he wants to go to the bathroom.
Yeah. Alright, everyone, bio break. Then we go to what's going on in iPort.
Did we land in
That's
my port?
how far out. Also,
Hey, you guys-
holy fuck.
Bio break, everyone.
Yeah. Alright. See y'all in 5 to 10, peoples.
Yes. Time to read through the disjointed text chat and see what happens.
Oh, just fails to become egg.
Yeah, fails in making an omelet out of the apparently god level threat that isn't in the egg.
Oh, it's just a named being. It's not threatening at all.
Yeah, a name being that's conspicuously like a dragon. I mean, what does?
I mean, just make any kind of big lizard, Just got some wings, it breathes some fire, it's fine.
Hey,
It's hundreds of
not
feet
a
long and it
dragon,
walks
has
through a building like it doesn't exist.
It's not a dragon, it has multiple eyes.
Well, to be fair, after it walks through it, the building doesn't exist.
Although now
No,
I'm just picturing like adult Xeno'jiiva from Monster Hunter.
That's pretty.
Oh.
That's kind of accurate. It's very accurate to the face.
Sophie, yeah.
All right, time to read through this stuff and see what happened. Oh yes, many dots and then many exclamation points, both italicized and bolded.
No,
Yes.
no. You see, we found Failsy's real dad.
I mean, Failsy doesn't know who her dad is, so maybe.
It was
Hard to
just a joke.
say.
As he said.
I always forget what specific type of redacted sorcerer Failsy is.
Oh yeah, sorcerer.
Yeah.
Isn't she,
That sound that I can make with my face for some reason.
This just
Isn't
sounds like
she-
static.
Isn't she copper?
No.
I thought she was like Black Dragon. Oh, I don't know. I also might be wrong. I don't know.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say.
Well, you specifically make acid-related abilities, so that's up to you.
Yeah, see? Acid, potentially related to a black dragon. This thing is black and dragon-like, although it's breathing fire. Failsy's real dad. The acid
It mi-
is completely incidental.
It might have more than one breath weapon. That's not important.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Failsy's dad.
Also, not sure if it really is Black Dragon because it's a slightly corrupted memory. Where the
Yeah, it's not very well remembered. Like, the feeling and the anguish is what's remembered. The actual memory and images are very old.
I don't need facts to have a conspiracy theory, damn it.
yes, but yes, I'm with you on the conspiracy theory that
It's Failsy's real dad.
if a tiny aspect escapes, bad things will happen. It's like, oh hi, Failsy.
I mean, also, the kid.
Do 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 do.
Suddenly, we're on some medieval version of Jerry Springer, and it's Failsy and the golden-haired girl. On the other side is the Black Dragon, and no, on the other side is the sword.
Just the sword?
Black Dragon is in the back room, ready to come out. It's a surprise.
it's
Daddy.
the parentage. Yeah.
So suddenly appears out of nowhere for Failsy's birthday party.
Just breathes acid all over Failsy.
That hurt.
Which because Failsy's now like half ooze, it just doesn't really bother her.
That vibrated all of my throat juices.
Ooh.
Yeah. Failsy just taking the egg out and just becoming ooze around the egg. Just this is mine now.
Bleep.
I pictured the only worst birthday party would be Brimstone if his father showed up.
Might have done.
Hi, son. Guess what time it is?
Oh,
That's right. It's shit stomping time.
oh god, Failsy and Brimstone have a joint birthday party.
They just happen to have the same birthday.
They get into the contest of my dad can beat your dad.
I'm gonna arm wrestle this dragon.
that's when they get along too well, and Brimstone's like, "Oh no."
Everyone's just like, no.
Yeah, except for Failsy, who's just like, "Yes,
oh no! Oh no! Oh yeah!
yeah." Hey, you want to help me kick the shit out of my kid? Okay.
Hey, you want to help me kick the shit out of my kid? Why not?
That's just. I mean, it wasn't fair to begin with, but.
Also, in case anyone's curious what was distracting me while looking it up earlier, I was recently deciding to look through a bunch of different documents about various high fantasy inspired cocktails,
Uh huh.
and I have a lot prepared.
Uh huh.
Because just either a lot prepared or I just found a gigantic list of a bunch of different D&D based alcohols. Because, it's important.
I
Actually,
return.
don't. Actually, gonna go get drunk. No.
No, I'm not gonna go get drunk. I'm just giving you the option to become totally sloshed. Which, to be fair, I won't be able to describe properly a lot of these because I have not had them before, but I've been semi-studying how cocktails work and have been designing some, or at least creating names for some.
Oh, fucking no.
Because, it's what you do when you're bored.
Hey, there's a YouTube channel that should be quite helpful to you for that.
It's kind of why I decided to do it.
Casually.
I have actually tried one of the cocktails that YouTube channel has shown just because I had the ingredients. It was alright.
Yeah.
I mostly blame it on just me having lack of skill.
It can be kind of hard to get those right without the exact equipment that is used there.
Yeah, well, I had the stuff to make a bee's knees, so I did.
The bee's knees.
It is 3 of my favorite things in a cocktail.
Ah, yes. Bees and knees.
Honey, lemon, and gin, actually.
Oh, I break my neck.
I love drinking bee venom and bone marrow.
Yes. Speaking of honey, I've got some mead.
Jealousy. Actually, I don't know if I'd like mead, considering I'm not a huge fan of honey.
Same.
It's like a fortified sweet wine.
I know what mead is. Is everyone back?
I'm back.
Did anyone other than Danny even leave?
No.
Does anyone else need to go to the bathroom before I continue?
I just got some snacks. I'm good.
Does everyone have their snacks?
Give me a sec, I'll make myself a...
Sure.
I have maple bacon flavored potato chip.
Maple bacon, maple bacon, maple bacon, take some maple bacon.
I would just rather have the first part, not just potato chips.
Some maple and you put it in the bacon, maple bacon.
That flavor combination just reminds me of a childhood thing. Grandpa would make pancakes and have bacon on the side, and he'd use real maple syrup on the pancakes, and it would get on the bacon, and it was glorious.
Yeah, it's fucking great.
Maple and bacon work so well together.
Yeah, so does maple and sauce.
Maple bacon. So what does everyone feel so far? Do you like what I've done with the place?
Okay, you got actual tears out of me. The sobs I was doing in
I
character were not just in character.
I could hear it.
I'm a writer.
Yeah. Dude, though, I like it though because it's it's very good
I
storytelling.
made you sound on purpose.
Yeah, like I said, like everybody's getting interesting and heartfelt stuff. Brimstone's first interaction with his item is just going to be dad, "Hey, son, remember who owned you?"
You've already had your first interaction with your item.
No, I know. Like the first time it's somebody else. Like it contacts somebody else
It did.
that I'm aware of.
There you go.
The first time that it contacts somebody and they respond. Yeah,
Looks at the relationship Brimstone is in.
Yeah.
So you're saying is that his brace there got him laid.
Yeah, it's one of the few times braces will get you laid.
I mean, it's not really a brace, but okay.
Alright. Is everyone ready?
Yes.
I don't know, is Failsy back?
I'm back.
Okay.
Alright then. So you all suddenly appear in the ocean on a boat. And there's just like there's a hustle and bustle that was going on, and it suddenly just stops. And everyone looks towards you.
I was hoping to appear in the quarters, but
Well, you appeared in the middle of a performance. As the other Elevi sisters were playing a performance for the crew. You literally appeared right in the middle of the entire crowd of them. There's just like that classic, just sort of like accordion being dropped, like note, and everyone stops.
okay, time to improv this.
Record scratch.
Hello, everyone. I present to you the rest of the sisters. Elevi and Treba have come back.
There's just continued silence as people try to process what just happened.
Was this planned?
Yeah, someone in the crowd just literally goes, "Was this planned?" At which point Treba just sort of looks around at everyone, takes the pin back from you and pins it back on her shirt. Indeed it was!
Yeah, just Dementia gives her a nod of just like, go along with it.
Yeah, she just steps forward as I try to find the proper fucking music. Doesn't work. That's not right. That's the wrong music. That is technically something they could play, but
I mean, they got a lot of instruments between them.
they do have a lot of instruments. There's a lot of them. Each one plays a different instrument.
7 kids. Not including Elvie, I think.
Yep, 8 in total sisters. I'm also trying to find my ocean sound.
So we're out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
We just...
So
You see the port coming in. You see the actual eye port coming into view over the horizon, but you are still in the ocean.
okay, so the boat has been repaired enough that it was able to set sail. By this
Yeah.
point.
It doesn't. You look around, and by the way, as they start making the performance, I'm trying to find something that I could play for this. That's not good. But as you look around, you notice that there isn't actually a proper like sail and mast set up. They sort of had to make several smaller sails, and that's kind of why it's taken them so long to get back. It's very like cobbled together to make it work.
Oh, so this is this half is still sailing to.
Yeah, you see the eye port in the distance, and you guys are currently sailing towards it, and you do see that there's quite a bit of hustle and bustle, like, going about on the brain not working boardwalk. But you see a lot of, like, people, like, preparing because they can see the other half of the castaway finally arriving back in port. Because it took them a long time to get the ship fixed. To get to even remotely a workable situation. You know what? Fuck. I'm just gonna play this. That's technically Tez Varel's background music, but I'm playing it anyway.
This is my jam.
It's fitting the bass, so she is providing the underbeat.
Hmm.
Elavie sort of like walks you away because she can't perform right now. Just sort of looks out over the edge of the ship's bow towards the port coming into view and sees the other half of the castaway. The current half of the castaway is decidedly steering very close to the other half, you notice.
That
Just
sense to bolt back
Yeah.
together.
It looks like you guys are probably going to arrive in port within an hour or two at your current rate. But yeah.
Vinci would just kind of lean against the rail with Elavie. Oh, looks like everyone's getting back together.
She just gives you a short nod before just jutting her head towards the my brain is being so bad today. The wheel of the ship, basically without words saying that she's got to go take over her normal position.
Okay. Oh, Elavie. Before you go, may I ask one favor?
She's looking at you.
Da Vinci is going to show the top of the watch. Show the symbol of Altia.
Mhm.
If you know of any place or see this symbol anywhere, you mind just shooting me a message? It would be greatly appreciated.
She, you notice her face sort of a slight nod of understanding, but she has, a calculating look on her. And then she looks over to Treba. She's like, she can't send a message, but she'll have someone send you a message.
That was all I wanted to ask.
She just nods. Yeah. She nods and heads towards the chair position, or the wheel position.
Pleasure traveling with you.
A short wave back to you as she continues heading up. The rest of the crew seems very happy to see the admittedly thought maybe lost other two sisters, because they had no idea what happened with you guys, or where you went, or if you'd return. But they're happy to see everyone back, and within a few minutes of Elavie heading up to the captain's position, that's what I was trying to think of before, you hear a very presentful footfalls coming towards you. As you just hear, "So you actually were able to do it." As you see previously stand-in captain, I meant to say.
Acting captain.
Gaston.
Acting captain Gaston. His fucking last name that I can't remember off the top of my head because my brain isn't working because I'm tired.
Gaston, the French name.
Is it Gaston Leon?
Yeah, Gaston Pellion. Thought it was something like that, but I couldn't remember if it had more syllables because I didn't know if I made him super pretentious.
Yeah.
I only made him a lot pretentious.
Mostly pretentious.
It's good to see you. How have you been? I see you actually managed to get it done.
Da Vinci is just kind of coy, leaning back against the rail. What, you doubted me?
Of course. I didn't know you. How could I not? Though I notice you're down a few members.
Oh, they stayed behind to address some other stuff. Well, I'll be heading back to them within the day.
Oh, it's a shame. You should go drinking with us. It'd be nice to finally celebrate being back in port after so many days stranded on an island, rebuilding a ship.
Oh, nothing's saying can't enjoy drinking tonight, though.
What,
Fair enough.
Carry ships in your pocket? You don't carry ships in your pocket?
Not in my pocket. Unless you're thinking about something else. But let's not get into that right now. We're working. Anyways.
But it has been quite a journey.
You're telling me it's been quite a journey for us as well. We had a run-in with the actual Leviathan that guarded that island as well. Luckily, it seemed like the beast had a rather nasty run-in with something else recently, so we were able to fend it off.
Oh yeah,
Yes, it had a run-in with us.
I'm sure it did. Anyways, how have things been? You guys have been gone.
Well, we had to end up traveling all the way over to the Emerald Plateau on the entire other side of the continent.
Emerald Plateau, that's the history check for him.
Where the Ironwoods are.
Well, the was him still contemplating. This is the history check is taking place in like 3 seconds.
Okay.
That's the that's a place in Granum.
It's where the Ironwood is from.
Oh yeah, that's where I've heard the name before. That's where we get the wood to build the armor plating on the ships. Actually, no, it's the wood where we get to build the cross beams. The iron plating is the iron that you get out of the ironwood, of course. I know that.
Oh, but it's been quite the traveling. We even had to go through a massive desert.
I imagine you'd have to, isn't that kind of in the middle? I don't go that way very often, but I imagine it is.
It is, but sometimes you can find a way around through the Blossom Kingdom, although that's a bit of a longer way than what we wanted.
I'm going to give him an advantage on a history check for that, because he actually does handle trade routes. But he's not super intelligent. Yeah, you need like a merchant's pass or something to go the short route, or I don't know how that works. It's either go through the mountain and go through a desert.
Yeah.
Both are
I know
not fun.
Drugo carried one of those. That's how we got to here. We got to Jezebeth the first time.
Yep. It's unfortunate, but it's literally the heart of the Blossom Kingdom. You gotta expect them to be somewhat protective of who comes and goes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So you both will be staying with us at least for the night, I assume?
Yeah. My companion there, she's got some business in the port. You wouldn't happen to know where how well off the Merchants Guild in Highport is?
It is the... It's either the third or the fourth largest trade port in Jezebeth, so... Not the best, but not the worst. I think it's the third. I'm gonna say it's the third. Second is Mouthport further south, and then the biggest is Hornport up north.
think they've got a port authority which keeps records.
Oh, most definitely. Heck, if the other half of the castaway is there, you could probably, assuming he survived, you could find Gond and be able to get every bit of information you need to about this port. He's obsessed with that stuff.
Yeah, we ran into him our first time through here.
Well, that's good. You should be able to find him, assuming he's still there and didn't find another job, considering the man is a workaholic. Speaking of workaholic, I'm looking forward to getting some new alcohol.
Also, Lee's been doing well. He's been traveling with us.
You still have the pup with you?
Yes.
How's he doing on land? How's he doing on land? I know that boy's never spent a day on land in his life, hardly.
The first couple weeks were a bit rough, and he underwent a bit of what do sailors call it? Land sickness?
Yeah, it's not fun. You get used to the ground rocking under your legs, and suddenly it doesn't, and it's very bizarre. But you can counteract that with a stiff drink.
But he's actually been proven very useful. He's gotten us through a number of difficult situations.
Oh, fair enough. Pup had to come into his own eventually anyways.
Oh, he came into his own alright. Shacked up with a nice little girl.
Oh! I don't believe you, but it would be interesting.
So,
Very sorry.
mhm. So, well, you didn't hear this from me, but he did find himself a girl. She lives out in the Emerald Plateau, where they've got a bunch of orcs.
Make a persuasion check to see if he'll even believe you. Because right now he doesn't.
As I remember, Gaston didn't have the greatest.
Yeah, Gaston
23.
didn't have the greatest opinion of Lee.
Like, the only one who really did go.
It's not that anyone disliked Lee or had a negative opinion of him, it's just that
Yeah.
everyone saw him as a child, even though he was an adult. Because
Yeah.
literally everyone on the castaway is older and literally saw him grow up.
He's the baby at the ship.
Yeah, literally. Almost. But with a persuasion check of 23. You're not pulling my leg, are you?
Nope, your little boy's become a man.
Oh, he's not my little boy. That's more of a statement to tell Gond, but that is surprising. He sort of like looks off into the distance in contemplation. Was it with that little girl that was giving him the sweet eye while we were on the ship and on the shoreline? Little cotton candy child.
Da Vinci is just gonna give a coy smile.
That's a
I'll
yes.
leave that up to your imagination.
Brimstone, you're not there!
Yeah, even though Brimstone wouldn't react like that.
I know. Anyways. Wait. And he like does a height comparison thing.
Hence exactly why he chose his words.
Well, if they're happy, I guess it works out. He
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
does.
that's
He believes you, but he doesn't want to believe you. That's
I'm just picturing him go tell Gons, and he's just like, I can't believe you.
well. We aren't far out from port now. If you all want to just batten yourselves down and try not to get seasick after so long on land, we'll be in port pretty soon.
I don't know. I'm thinking, given the sisters are still performing, might go and join them.
He looks over at the sisters performing. Word to the wise. They've got like these little weird charm things that they wear that keep them in sync. If you don't have one of those, you probably don't want to try jumping in there. Because they will eat you alive. It'll be embarrassing.
I don't want to see that. Do it, Da Vinci.
I mean, I warned you. And he starts walking he starts walking off to give orders to other various just normal workers who were doing nothing in preparation for making landfall, just sort of watching the performance as it suddenly picked back up in tempo. Treba is definitely one of the more outspoken of the Elodie sisters, so yeah. Having her back is definitely raising what was already fairly high morale even higher.
Da Vinci is going to first listen to the music and feel the tempo and how the tempo is in comparison to his kind of internal ticking.
All right then. Yeah, you can get a rhythm for that. You do definitely note that Treba is currently the one keeping the beat bass tone. So it's actually fairly easy to get this sort of not quite 16, but almost like a 8.5 type scale going on. Like it's almost arrhythmic with how they're playing, where it will occasionally change beat pattern. But you can get the idea of how they're doing it.
And with getting himself kind of as close to in sync as he can, he's going to kind of wave and signal a "May I join?" to
the other sisters definitely give you a decidedly apparent side eye. Just like they know you help them, but they don't really know who you are. But Treba is more or less giving you a "if you think you can keep up" look.
Okay, with that, Da Vinci is going to try to hop in with a dance.
Alrighty then. You can go ahead and make a performance check. We had previously discussed how this works for you, since you are dancing and you have your timekeeping device. It's a little bit out of time compared to what they're doing, but it lets you keep your own time and know how to change around it. You have advantage on this.
Woot! Okay. A 19. Not the best, but not terrible either.
Alright, and now I make a performance check for them. To see if they are playing too fast for you.
I wonder if also some of the spell dancer bard synchronization might kick in.
They're just playing music. They're not performing anything bardic. Like, they're literally just doing a performance rather than trying to cause any magical effects.
Fair.
Someone's a tornado. Tears the shit.
Everyone dies. Good job, Da Vinci.
Da Vinci creates the tornado that turns into a water spout and sucks up the chip.
It was nice knowing you, Da Vinci, and now I hate you. No, but yeah, you're able to keep pretty good time with them as they are carrying on the performance. If you want to do any spell dancer stuff, that's up to you, but considering the fact you're in front of a giant crowd, maybe not the best idea.
Yeah.
It's also
No,
part of why it wouldn't activate, because as much as it sort of has happened without your intention before, in this kind of scale, you would at least be aware not to let it out.
Yeah, the most it would manifest in is an occasional kind of favorable wind, but no explicit magic or flare, just Dravinche being a dancing sparkle ball.
Fair enough. Then, for the next hour or however long you'd like to perform, you continue dancing and play along with their performance, and definitely getting some very good reviews from the crowd as Gaston has to rein them in again to make sure you guys don't crash into the port. Because for as much doing a wonderful performance, it's a tiny bit distracting.
The sexiness is too much.
They want to touch your body. They want to touch all over your body.
They want to get at that butt.
That booty. Anyways. Sorry. Anyways. Yeah. You guys make port, finally. And the various members of the ship immediately form it's halfway between a mad dash and an orderly line to get off the ship. Because they have been sailing for so long.
Fair enough.
I imagine food supplies are low.
Not super low, because the ship was stocked with a lot of extra rations. Because originally it was intended to have a lot of more people on it. But, yeah.
It probably also wasn't stocked for weeks and weeks on end of sailing.
It was not. But they made it work. It's more along the lines of they just want to be off a boat after how traumatic this experience has been. Especially considering not all of them are the standard crew of the Castaway. It's also the various guards and construction workers that were on the Castaway for this single job.
And a couple of travelers as well, probably, since it was supposed to stop at Tezverel.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, you're able to now get off the ship, and almost immediately upon getting off the ship, you can see Gaunt, because he is taking count of everyone who comes off. For obvious reasons.
Making head count.
Yep. They weren't sure who survived, so he is taking count of everyone that came off. And he wasn't sure if it changed from the records you all brought him since the time you came into port.
Oh god, I'm so tempted for a liar ass of Gambit to trick Gaunt.
You do notice he sort of stops and looks up at you two.
Well, I was gonna say Dravinche would kind of hang back until the crowd's dispersed a bit, since he doesn't need to get off the boat immediately.
Yeah. It's one of those situations where it's not really your choice.
Kind of get pushed off.
Yeah, you can hang back towards the back of the line, but you are sort of getting ushered off the boat.
Get the fuck off this boat before it sinks.
Hey, Gond, in a long time no see.
It's good to see you all. Though I am very confused why I'm seeing you again.
Magical.
Yep. You'll see why in just a minute.
I can actually already see why. I hope. You notice as he's looking up towards the captain's position.
You forget how tall I am.
Yes. Yes, that is her. Not full recovery, but she has the energy to resume position.
That is good to hear.
So just went and brought her back.
You notice he's actually sort of like having to pause to think right now. Because he wasn't expecting her back this soon. At least with how you all were talking about how it was going.
Is there something wrong?
Nothing wrong, it's just good to see her. With the reports we've been getting about Jonathan, it's good to see either of them.
I've heard the good news that he's at least still alive.
Yes, he is definitely still alive, but he's being Jonathan. Which is very destructive.
And not letting anything hold him down.
No. No.
Yeah, I figured it would be best for Ellaby to come back. If anyone can rein him in, it'd be her.
Yeah, probably. I just have to actually get her in a position where she can get to him.
Oh,
But that's not your concern. We'll have that figured out.
yeah, we did our part.
How's Lee?
Lee, he's been incredibly helpful. And he's been doing good.
That's good to hear.
There's, of course, no travel is always completely safe. But he's been doing great in helping keep us all in one piece.
Makes sense. He's always been good at keeping things together.
And also, it seems like he's gotten himself a girlfriend.
Press exit out.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Gaston didn't believe me either.
You don't really know what the face he's making means, but it's a very sort of like a pause for thought face. It's weird to see this man's face make expression.
It's just like, oh, this is twice I've baffled people.
It's a very baffling statement.
Don't worry. They're a good pair that watch out for one another.
If it's true, then they better be. I don't believe it's true.
Well, as it turns out, she grew up around a lot of orcs. And
There's a concern growing on Gon's face.
so, and she said multiple times that she thinks Lee is handsome.
Well, he's certainly not bad looking for an orc. And he looks at himself, who is definitely more on the what one sort of thinks of when they think of an orc, where they're the sort of like stretched features that look much more bestial and almost feral. Whereas, Lee looks very distinctly almost human in a weird way.
He's orc, but a pretty orc.
Yes, he's a very pretty orc. You all know why, but he's a very pretty orc.
No, why?
But yes, our journey has been quite an interesting one. May we talk over it? Talk more about it over a drink?
I don't know if I want to.
I'm good.
I don't really want to think about that. To be honest.
Go away.
In fact, I've got a job to do. I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna put that out of my brain.
Before you do, on the subject of Lee,
Oh, you're here too.
I'm always here. I never
That's
left.
not true. That's not true.
Uh,
I saw you leave.
and yet I walked off the ship as well.
Magic. Anyways, what are you asking?
Overheard Lee chatting to Keter about a long-lost mother of his? Wondering if the Port Authority would have records.
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Although that does remind me that Failsy already said it. Keta has been. That's the girl.
Alright.
She. Trust me, I'm not 100% sure how it works, but whatever.
Not thinking about it?
She's been very keen on trying to learn more about Lee's past. Help piece things together for him.
Ceres Felwyn.
Does that ring a bell?
Gonna make a history check for him. See if he recalls.
Felwyn knows that because she had to help rifle through old military documents that led nowhere.
Yep. I can't say the name is familiar. At least not off the top of my head. I'd have to look through my records. But why specifically are you looking for that information?
More to help. To help give a pass to someone who's lost there.
I don't know if Lee had much of a past, to be honest. Alright. I'll give this off to someone else. We can talk. He hands off his clipboard. The world shudders.
In terms of that clipboard is made of fucking saw adamantine, the person who grabs it just
They just die.
yeah, it just crushes them. Ah, shit.
That's their problem.
Turns out well, it's like Thor's hammer. You can only lift it if you're worthy.
You can only lift
If
it
you're worthy.
You can only lift it if you're responsible.
No one else is.
Felzy tries to lift it
Yeah,
crushed.
into the earth.
Dead immediately.
Yeah, Failsy goes to touch it. It's like when she gets close to Brimstone's sword. Just
No, but... Anyways. He just leads you all over to that same tavern inn that you guys stayed at when you were here before. Just sits you all down and... Alright. So, I'm assuming you want to know how we found... That's the only thing I can assume you want to know.
Well, it would be nicer if Keta was here to ask these questions, but she's currently grounded.
Alright. I'm certain she did something to deserve it.
I don't think so.
Yes, yes and no. It's a long story in its own right, but
Well,
if I'm certain she would ask questions about if you recall how you found Lee, how much do you know of Lee's history?
well,
Eh.
how I found Lee was when I was still working on a military vessel.
If I recall correctly, you found him on a pirate ship?
Yes, he was someone who was found in the wreckage of a pirate ship we had to destroy. That was back when I still worked as a military officer for the Navy.
What was the pirate vessel's name?
Oh, me think. Make another history check for him. He's pretty good at remembering things, though. It's not a terribly hard thing to remember because you guys have already said it.
Yeah, I figured. Just Dementia would know.
Yeah. It was the Fellwind.
Yeah, so Sarah's Felwyn named her ship after herself.
Well, it was I don't think it was captained by a woman.
So,
Might have had a wife, though. I don't know.
So it sounds like there's a possibility that Lee's the son of a pirate captain.
With how much the boy favors the sea, I wouldn't be surprised.
What happened to Captain Felwind?
He went down with his ship. Same as any good captain should. Well, his ship didn't go down, never mind. Sorry, that different tangent that my brain just went on. Yeah, as far as we're aware, he sunk with the ship.
Was it a total loss of all hands on deck?
The ship was reduced to splinters.
So no prisoners?
What condition did you find Lee?
Unconscious, floating on a piece of driftwood. To be frank, my captain and lead officer at the time wanted to kill him because he was a member of that crew as well, technically. But to me, he was just a child, so I didn't think he deserved that. Couldn't have been older than 5, maybe 6 at the time.
Still plenty of time to grow and learn.
You know. Plenty of time to become a better and more beneficial member of society.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to convince my captain that we could hire him on as a training deckhand. Which was an excuse to say I would pay his way and I would take care of him.
And given how he's become, I say you've done him a great service.
I'd like to think so.
A great service in that.
I'd like to think so. Though to be fair, it's a little hard to think so when you consider the fact that I and the rest of my crew at that time were directly responsible for killing both of his parents, probably. We don't know if anyone else survived that wreckage. There were some unaccounted for bodies, but we've never seen crop up of any. At least back when I still tracked those records, we never saw any more crop ups of activity from any of them. So, if they did survive, they went on to live prosperous lives as normal individuals of society.
Now there is something a bit different about Lee. Da Vinci is going to speak in a bit of a hutch. He seems to have some ways with magic that he doesn't quite understand.
Yep. He's always been strange about that.
Do you have any knowledge or ideas as to why he's like that? How he has that?
Well, at the time we sunk that ship in water not yet tamed by the beacons, or by the buoys, rather, fell into water still corrupted by the magic, the wild magic of the Leviathans. Can only imagine what that does to a person. Breathe it in, nearly drown in it. Imagine it left him with a lifelong connection to the sea. It's part of why after I decided to raise him and eventually left the Navy, retired, with some honors. He says that with a little bit of pride. After I left the Navy, I kept taking jobs on vessels because he always seemed to have an inclination towards the water. Boy swims like a fish. Heck, honestly, it was terrifying. Sometimes he could keep up with high-speed merchant vessels by some.
He is one with very peculiar skills.
Yeah.
Do you recall whereabouts the Felwyn sank?
Yeah, it was up. We sank it when it was doing a smuggling run from the Starcrest Isles. If I had a nautical map, I could actually probably even give you close to the exact coordinate where it sank, because I was pretty... He, looks at the fact that he was literally just given a clipboard by someone to look over while saying that statement. I was pretty good at keeping records back then, too.
Doesn't Ailsey have a map?
It's never really touched on if any of you guys actually have a map.
I could swear someone bought a map and we've been referencing it. I just don't remember where it is.
I'll just assume Failsy has one, because Failsy has a lot of things.
Failsy, could you pull out the map?
Failsy is our pack rat.
Felzy pulls out a...
She has...
notes on it.
Okay.
After she pulls out 2 books, the wife box.
I don't know why there's a note on this map that says, "Can I eat this?" With a note over the Emerald Plateau. Okay, weird. Anyways, and he actually points towards, not the main isle of the Starcrest Isles, but the small outland isle, just to the east or west of the main isle.
About here.
Yep. We sunk it just off the coast of that island. We more or less got... It wasn't just off the coast, it was a few miles outshore, but still. We got it when it had just picked up a new supply of what we can only assume was various stolen goods pilfered from the Starcrest Isles. It's a pretty lucrative trade to be able to rob that place, so we patrolled there a lot. But if you're looking for a shipwreck, I hate to say this, my friend, but I don't know how you're going to find it.
As you said, it was decimated.
Well, not even that. Where would you find it?
The ocean has no bottom. I know.
At least not that far outshore.
But
Yeah, that really awkward moment when this ocean has no floor.
Yeah, I was like, it's on the ocean floor, and then, oh yeah. This world doesn't have an ocean floor.
and even if it did, it could have possibly been grabbed. Or even if it was close enough, could have easily been grabbed up by something out there and swept away.
Yeah. Picked up as a toy by a Leviathan, maybe. We occasionally do see, or some of the other ones, armoring themselves with broken ships. Specifically that big crab Leviathan. We know it really loves to decorate itself.
Goddamn crap. Still, at least we know whereabouts we could ask when.
Yeah.
If we ever get there, we could ask the port authority there about local activity, maybe some survivors of the ship made local nuisances.
Has there been anything that stands out to you as particularly, I put it bluntly, odd about Lee?
Everything he is? He's a very strange orc.
Well, that he is. But he's a good lad.
Indeed. I miss him. Are you all staying anywhere? Still traveling?
Well, guess can tell you. We're planning to... So we traveled over to here at the Emerald Plateau. And we're planning an excursion over to here on the south side of the desert.
Mm.
And then we're going to be traveling around this area, and he motions towards the Palecrest Isles, not quite onto Fellhaven.
Alright then. And he actually points directly at Fellhaven on the map. Good here.
Hmm?
It's a weird kingdom. There's a lot of trade myth about it. We don't like.
Um,
I assume it's all. Assume things that are told that often are purely myth.
what have you heard about the place?
People are alive, but they walk around like zombies. Nearly devoid of life and character. I don't know necessarily if it's true, but it's very so.
Hmm. Okay. We were thinking maybe exploring out that way, but if you'd advise us not to.
I mean, I don't know if it's true, of course. Could be superstition for the sake of superstition. It might just have a lot of bad traders they're trying to make sure don't get any business in it. I don't know. I'm just saying be careful if you do go out there.
We'll make sure to be careful, and then after exploring around there, thinking of heading back to Tesvarel.
Hmm. Fair enough. It's been pretty lively here at Tesvarel. There in Tesvarel, from what I've heard.
Yeah, it frequently is.
I have to get a book. I have so many books. I'm so glad my headphone cable is really long.
It's actually getting pretty close to a festival or some kind of celebration, I think.
Would Dravinci know?
Make a history check with advantage, because it's been a while since you've looked at like a calendar to think about what day it is.
17?
Sorry. 17. Let me make sure that I'm saying this right, because I had to write holidays for this world, so I have to make sure I remember them. Yes, you would remember this, as it is in the late season, basically the ending of summer, and this happens every season, basically every late tier season. There is a craft festival held on the last week of every late season of the various seasons. I keep wanting to call them months because that's originally what I called them, but that gets confusing.
And which season is this?
We're in summer. So the late summer season is actually going to be the season of... let me check to make sure about... Yeah, it's summer, so summer is the season of metalwork.
The Metalwork Festival. That is coming up.
Yeah, you would know that it is properly referred to as the Festival of Red Irons.
No, the Festival of Red Irons is a very fun time. Various metalworkers, and I'm just going to assume jewelers since it's anything that works with metal.
Jewelers sort of fall between the ironworking, which is in summer, and then the stoneworking, which is in brain no work good, is in winter. So they sort of get a dual celebration.
Hmm.
They can participate in both competitions that happen during the festival.
Hmm. It's a time when metal workers of all kinds, iron workers, jewelers, blacksmiths, they. It's a time when they all can participate in a festival of the craft. So many wonderful sculptures can come from it.
I imagine. And just so you can know, if you want to take notes on this, for summer it is metalworking. For fall it is woodworking. For winter, I say fall, it's technically autumn, but for winter it is stone, which falls things like gemstone, glass, stuff like that. Anything that stems from earthen materials. It's also pottery. And then spring is a little different because it's specifically the festival celebrating apprentices. It's any form of crafts, but only crafts done by someone within their early apprentice to journeyman years of crafting.
So Da Vinci might have participated in a few there.
Yeah. But it is the last week of every late season.
Oh, that is coming up. Shame that I'm gonna have to miss it.
Well, you suddenly appeared in the middle of a ship. What makes you gonna have to miss it?
Hmm.
We have
You've
some
got-
desert.
I mean, you've got almost 4 weeks before it happens.
Hmm. Even though, one never said that I appeared instantly. But there's, well, given what I mentioned about our travel route, I'm not sure if I would have the time to travel back home for that.
I mean, I can't fault you. I just figured I'd mention it since you all were originally on the castaway to go to Tezrel, so...
Yes, and that's where we hope to go after our bit of gallivanting around. And he just kind of waves his hand around and, the continent of Granum, around this area.
You know, all just traveling. Well, don't let me keep you. I have to get back to work anyways.
Yes, and don't let us keep you. Thank you for the discussion.
Not a problem. And he just stands up.
Oh, actually, one more thing.
What's up?
Failsy, you had a question about merchantry?
Ah, right. Just wondering where would be the best place to offload bulk material for sale.
It depends on the material.
Um,
I mean, by and large, you'd want to probably go to the Trade Guild Hall, so...
What
But you
was
might-
that?
we're talking, yes, a lot of material.
I mean, by and large, you'd probably want to go to a Trade Guild Hall, because... obviously, that's where you go to sell a lot of material at one time. How much do you have?
That was sort of fingers it goes, about £4,000.
Yeah.
She likes to
I
exaggerate,
recommend
but
going to the guild hall.
she likes to exaggerate, but yes, a good amount of material.
Okay. I mean, that's your prerogative.
Yeah. So where might we find the trade hall?
He gives you directions for the sake of brevity.
Okay.
Mm.
Hmm.
Basically, it's further towards the center of the port, away from the actual boardwalk.
Hmm.
It's
Alright.
kind of hard to miss because, like most ports of Jezebeth, they're all built around the trade hub. So more or less, if you
Alright.
follow any center thoroughfare, you will get to the trade hub.
Okay.
So yeah, you make your way there. And by the way, I
Um,
decided to do some calculations
Yes.
before. I did quite overestimate the weight of that meteor
Yeah.
because I actually had noted down the weight of the material and how big that meteor was, and the fact that it is hollow.
For it to be hollow.
Yeah, I was not accounting for it to be hollow when I originally calculated its weight. It's closer to the range of about 600 pounds.
Okay.
So still a ton, but not impossible to move.
Did we ever get told the name of the material?
No, none of you know it. I don't think I told any of you what it was called.
No, the only one who had a chance was Brimstone, and he fucking rolled like a 3.
All he remembered was being talked to.
Yeah, being talked to, and that if you vibrate it at the right frequency, it fixes itself.
You didn't even remember that. That you got reminded of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Dude,
Do we
yeah,
want
we
to
don't
go to-
really know what it does.
do we want to go to the guild hall tonight?
Well,
Or
how
actually,
long-
it's like midday right now, isn't it?
With the sudden shift of where you guys were, it's actually nighttime
Oh,
because you moved time zones.
fair.
Because you were midday before, and now you're burgeoning into evening. It's not dead of nighttime, but the sun has gone down, or is on the setting.
So is jet lag a thing when you teleport?
What's a jet?
Hmm. It's called. I think the term is telelag.
There is no term.
I'm just making a joke.
I know. And I'm just like, that's not lore! That's not lore friendly!
I thought the whole
Stop trying to make up lore on the spot.
Oh my god, me immersion!
I thought the whole with jet lag in real terms was your body trying to adjust to a new time zone.
It is. That is a thing, but it's not really something anyone has to deal with. So there's not really a term for it. And I don't think you'd be aware of it because you've never really had to teleport. Anyways.
Yeah, you reckon that they'd be open now?
The trade port never closes.
First, we need to figure out what the hell is this metal called?
Well, also, given how Madame Elway is the one carrying it, just prep. He just kind of hunches up like, okay, is she gonna show up?
Nothing.
He relaxes.
Hello. I love your reactions to that.
She was hiding in your tension.
Exactly.
Well, given that you're the one carrying it, and I think it would look a little odd if you were to just, I guess you could say, give birth to a giant hunk of metal. Should we maybe look into finding another way to more subtly transport it?
No.
I guess we could just hire a cart and for an hour.
Why don't we just take it there? A space of holding underneath my dress.
Hmm.
That's not the most bizarre thing.
Works for me.
I'm just worried if something ends up being a little too odd, I don't have a way to get us quickly out of here.
Just the grin slowly spreads across Elway's face.
No, we're not doing that.
Only if necessary.
I'm just picturing Ailsey's also in on it, and Da Vinci is just giving both of them a blank face stare.
Well, let us be off. Let's go sell this precious lump of material.
I suppose you know what it's called.
No, at
No,
least I can't recall off the top of my head.
if we refer to it as metal from a star, maybe someone might know. But we're definitely not going to let this go and without a really good offer.
Fair enough. Alright, so I'm assuming you guys have been making your way towards the trade hub this whole time.
Yeah.
It's not too hard that once you get to the hub itself to find someone who is clearly in the market of buying bulk material. Like, you literally see whole shipments, like caravans worth of material coming in and out of essentially a massive warehouse. That would be as good a place as any to probably inquire about if they themselves could purchase it, or if they know who could purchase it.
Actually, question.
Would that?
Would Da Vinci potentially have any knowledge of this metal, given his experience amongst crafters and such?
I think you failed your roll as well. We all fucked up the rolls.
That was an investigation about it, trying to find openings and such, not so much a history.
Yeah. The issue is this is not the type of material that is widely known. It's like one specific guild uses this material extensively. And otherwise, it's very specific where this stuff gets used. You could attempt to make a history check, but the DC is pretty high.
Would that be a normal or disadvantage?
Just a normal check, but the DC is high.
Okay. I ask also partially because of his experience with Primum. He might have a bit more knowledge of purely rare metals. A 19. That's almost as high as I can get it. Possibly get it.
Alright.
Should Fauzi give it a try? See if she can drag information out of her mind?
then you wouldn't have any context for this material, unfortunately. You couldn't even offer an advantage through assistance as it stands.
I didn't think so.
But yeah, with a 19, that doesn't quite meet the DC, unfortunately, because I set the DC at 20. Because it's supposed to be a difficult check. But I will give you a little bit. You never personally dealt with this material. You've never personally had to deal with it because prior to this situation, you've never really seen it in action. You do vaguely recall points where your father, being the more master jewelry worker than you were, or really than any of your other family members were, except for maybe your mother, but mostly your father who ran the business and tried to get you into it as well. You do recall him occasionally mentioning members of a very strange guild who, rather than coming in to order jewelry, came to him with this strange silvery metal that you do now recall having a similar property to this. But he never made jewelry with it. He made strange, mounting devices with it. Almost like wire cages and frames. But nothing that was artful or like jewelry, but things that were functional. It was very bizarre to see your father work on them.
Now I think of it,
But unfortunately, you just...
I
was going to say, but unfortunately, you just hit below the DC required to know what the material was called.
Unfortunate. Oh, going to a trade hall does bring me back, and actually, I think I recall something about that thing. I know that there's some people out in Tesvarel that had something like that. Actually, if we keep it and wait till we get to Tesvarel, we might be able to sell it directly. I'll have to talk to my father and have that lovely conversation.
Sadly, we're not really near him to have that kind of conversation now.
No, but Elway, is it an inconvenience for you to be holding on to it?
Not particularly.
There is the possibility we could get a proper buyer.
Well, worst comes to worst. You could see who makes an offer here. And if you don't prefer the offer, take it elsewhere.
True.
Or if you just want to take it with you and not sell it, I'm perfectly fine keeping it on my person for longer. It's not inconvenient for me.
Okay, I'm probably going to regret this, but Failsy, what do you think?
I kind of foresee us needing a bit of coin soon.
Why do you say that?
Well, I keep bringing it up, but I know Keta keeps missing it, but Lee's going to need more of that. it'll be a while before we get him to a pool of wild magic to actually help him.
Maybe keep a bit on low. The bit of magic bit on the low. But how much did that potion for Lee cost?
If I recall, about 150 gold.
Just well, I think I can help out there. But let's now that I think of it, let's head over to the trade guild still. I've got a few things to sell.
All right. So yeah, you both can head over there, and you find various traders, basically perusing this bazaar-like setup. You do notice there seem to be specific places where people are buying product, and then specific places where people are selling product.
I'm guessing Da Vinci would have at least some experience of being able to just kind of show up and start selling something at a place like this.
I mean, generally speaking, you just sort of show up at a place like this and start selling things. Like, this is the place where one sells things.
Yeah, but it's not like, okay, you need to set up a whole table vendor kind of thing.
No, there are literally places where there are people set up to buy product.
Yes, we'll find some
Almost like
I'm
the bazaar. One half of it's a bazaar, and the other half is like a very detailed pawn shop that you can go to and sell things. Is the best way I can explain it.
Okay, but there's no like direct selling to a customer.
You could apply for a permit and set up a stall in the bazaar, but
That's not something we're doing in a single day.
it'd be a little bit difficult. You could probably do it, but it would be difficult. Also depends on how much product you have and if you would even be willing to set up a stall for it.
Do any of the buyers seem to have jewelry?
Several of them. You do notice one specific buyer that catches your eye, and they catch your eye because they are a human dressed in Tesvarelian clothes. And they do have several jewelry pieces scattered about their table that they are currently in the process of going over them with a jeweler's eye to appraise them. You watch as they set one piece aside, give it an approving nod, then move to another piece. They sort of critically look at it, set it down, a slightly smaller nod. They pick up another piece and just immediately set it back down, shake their head, and push it away.
Da Vinci will approach. It's not often I see someone from our home.
Oh, it is not often that I see another from Tesvarel here as well.
I'm guessing you're from a home of merchants?
Not a home of merchants, no. But I've become one.
Respectable. What kind of home did you come from?
personally from a statue maker's home, but decided that selling my siblings' wares was more profitable. But I've always had an eye for jewels, so that's what I'm doing right.
I started out at a jeweler's home, and decided that the energetic call of dance was more my style.
I'm willing to bet that your parents took an interesting look at that. No offense, friend.
No offense taken. I've already heard it multiple times over.
Hmm.
No,
So-
sorry.
You're fine. So what brings you here today? Merely noticing a familiar face and wanting to talk, or do you have something to sell?
Well, despite being a dancer myself, I still have a few tricks up my sleeves from my family. And Da Vinci is going to pull out the 3 bloodstone rings he has.
Yes.
And did a bit of work while traveling. Figured you would have a very appreciative eye for Tezrelian detail.
Of course, let me see.
So to remind me, these were made with the actual jewelry quality bloodstones, right?
Yes, so 2 of them were appraised at Gustav's to be 150, and the other one was appraised to be 250 to 400 gold worth.
Yeah. You notice he picks up the jeweler's eye and starts looking over the material.
It certainly appears to be real. These stones have quite the luster. You know, some don't always consider bloodstone to be a jewelry-worthy gemstone, but I have to beg to differ.
When you find the right stone, it really shines.
Yes, having it, and even if it is not the right stone for a piece of jewelry, having it for mosaic work is very appealing. But this is a good piece right here.
He looks at both of the 150 valued ones.
I'd be willing to give you 200 gold pieces for these.
Hmm. To get to that stone, it was quite the ordeal. Could we make it 225?
Make a persuasion check.
18.
He lolls his head from side to side for a moment.
For a fellow Tezverelian, I can certainly do that.
Much appreciated.
Alright, that's part of the deal.
And then he picks up the other ring. And immediately you see a little bit of a glimmer in his eye that tries to stifle rather quickly.
Now this
One of my-
is-
One of my better pieces.
I can tell. This is certainly a very beautiful piece. The craftsmanship on this.
Ow. Sorry, my chair suddenly moved underneath me, made me pinch something.
Ooh.
Right.
The craftsmanship on these is very nice. This braiding you did on the metalwork is very beautiful. For this piece, I would be willing to give 300 gold pieces.
Hmm. He just kind of leans back, hums and haws. You make an appealing offer, but I know someone as with an eye for detail as you know that this is much more valuable.
Yeah, perhaps, but you have to keep in mind, my friend, I have to resell it myself. I don't want to totally gouge my own customers.
Yes, but with your way of words, I bet you could sell for almost twice as much.
Perhaps, perhaps. What were you wanting for it?
Bear in mind with persuasion check to go along with. Bear in mind with whatever you say, you have to make a persuasion check to go along.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, just letting you know.
Well, you know what? For a fellow Tezverelian, I won't go as high as I'm thinking. 350.
Alright, go ahead and persuade.
23.
Now he's doing the and the hawing.
That's reasonable, I can do that.
Alright. He prepares a bag of coin for you. And you... Bless you.
Sorry, you cut out at the end there.
He is preparing a bag of coin for you, and I assume you hand over the rings?
Yep, would give the rings over and ask just for weight purposes to put as much of that as platinum.
He can do that for you. So 350, 200, so 575 gold pieces. As much as he is willing to do in platinum. So you have 50 platinum and 75 gold.
$50 platinum and 75 gold. So that puts me to
An amount?
240 gold. And would finish the deal with the check.
He does so. Looks very grateful for the pieces he has bought today. And
I hope.
Yeah.
I hope they can make you even wealthier than you made me.
We will certainly see.
you are then let go. Slightly heavier pocket.
Yes. And then Da Vinci just looks at Failsy. So, what was that about needing money?
Still gonna try and sell the rock.
Well, I don't think it's the best idea. I guess you can try.
Nothing.
We'll see. It looks like they're ready to buy metals.
Ability check. Okay. I will say for the sake of brevity, because this is actually something that is important and a little rare, because this material is not super common and definitely not found in that quantity very often. You go around trying to sell it to various mass holders, and no one recognizes the material.
Sigh.
I did actually roll probability, and it did not roll high enough to meet the probability check.
Da Vinci is just following behind Fails. He's just like, yep, 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 yep.
Then I assume you both... could I just assume that you both spend the rest of the night catching up with Gond and Gaston? And just drinking before you can get yourself sent back?
And if he could, Da Vinci would try to kind of follow up with Treba.
Like, just check up with her, or tell her that you're leaving, or what do you mean?
Basically, check up with her, how she's doing, and and also just kind of say, well, didn't spend as much time as maybe could have liked. It was a pleasure traveling with her.
She echoes the sentiment, and basically lets you all know that if you ever need help across the sea again, do not feel afraid to ask them for help, and they will try not to get you attacked by a Leviathan again.
And he would also mention that he asked a favor of Elavie and kind of show her the symbol as well.
Yeah. She nods and actually does a quick sketch of what the symbol looks like, just so they have it on hand to compare.
And when he leaves, he'll give her a deep bow and just a pleasantry of, hope we meet again on good times.
That's always the hope.
Alright. Time to roll a probability check again.
Woo!
Oh, goody.
Let's see if you guys make it back. It's alright. Yeah, you're fine.
Just next day, poof! Right in Daniel Jax.
You poof in right as Lee is mixing a drink in a shaker. Ooh. Okay.
Oh, hi, Lee.
Hi.
What are you doing here?
Working.
Oh, you got a job. Good for you.
Yeah.
Oh, had a quick chat with Gond. He says he misses you, but he.
He just smiles when you say that God misses him.
But I assured him that you're doing well.
Thank you.
How's Keta been holding up?
Looks over to the corner with what is currently a slightly drunk Keta, who currently has a very large, very vibrantly colored drink in front of her.
Ah, I see. Well, everything's good with the castaway. Everyone has gotten back safely.
That's good to hear.
Hmm.
And for the sake of Brimstone and Morrigan as well, because you both would. Lee decided to take a job working in Daniel Jack's distillery, producing, or basically doing what he actually did on the ship, which was being a bartender. At least until you guys can leave.
Fair enough.
And he is making very bizarre mixed drinks. And it has been very successful for business because people will come in and just ask him to surprise them.
I'm at least having a grand old time.
He's loving it. If you guys want, you both can be there as well with your own respective weird drinks I could describe to you. If you just ask Lee to surprise you rather than giving you something specific.
Yeah, no. Brimstone would probably just have a whiskey.
Yeah, you go to Daniel Jack for that.
Morrigan would probably just be sitting in the corner with probably like she would have asked to be surprised with a pale crest drink, but just kind of sitting over in the corner, sipping at it quietly, sitting.
Yeah, again, whiskey.
Like a mixed drink from the
I
Pale
know.
Crest Isles.
I'm being a smartass.
I know.
Okay, so
A pale drink from the pale drink. A surprise drink from the Pale Crest Isles. How's a wildfire sound?
Sounds fine.
Yeah. It's essentially, at least I'm assuming it is, because this is how I see it described and have read into it a little bit. It is a vibrantly green drink, like aggressively green, like Jolly Rancher green. We're talking.
That is green.
Yes, it is sweet, very strong, and mildly like melon. It's a melon-heavy, very strong drink.
So if this
And
was
when
in
it was
the-
served to you, it was on fire.
So if this was in the real world, it would probably have Midori in it.
Yes.
Yeah, so she's just kind of quietly sipping at it in the corner, probably just reading a book or something.
Yep. Midori and a lot of vodka. That's why it's a Pale Crest drink.
Yeah.
'Cause potatoes!
Yes, they had vodka in Pale Crest.
It's almost like they're Irish.
Would you have been startled to just suddenly, poof, there's Cervinche, Failsy, and Lady Elway?
You assume Elway's there, and she's not hiding in the shadows already.
No, she's there.
She would appear for like one split second and then poof, disappear.
It's like just like in like video talk, a frame. She's just there and then gone.
You would have probably just heard her from her corner just go, "Oh, dear sweet lords, all right," and then just go back to her book.
So
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's here.
yeah, don't have anywhere else to be. That's what happened.
So we teleported back
Uh,
and ended up on the left side of the castaway as it was pulling into port at I-Port.
Alright, so everybody made it out.
Yep. Met with Gaston. Everyone made it out to
By him.
yes, your best friend. And when Elavie and Treba arrived, Elavie took command right quick.
Mm-hmm.
Got to have a bit of a performance. That
Mm-hmm.
turned out splendid, if I say so myself.
I'm willing to bet you're not lying.
And had a chat with Gaston and after we got into port, had a chat with Gond.
Hee.
Lee just like a child. Just There's my
He likes
dad.
he likes Gone. That's his dad.
It's my daddy.
Told Gond about some of the shenanigans you've been having, Lee.
If he could whistle, he would.
Brimstone's eyes just narrow slightly.
But I assured him that things are going well, so
That's good.
all's good. Although he does miss you.
That makes me happy. Makes me so happy they'll give you a drink for free. What you want?
Surprise me. Something Tesverelian.
Ooh, I got a perfect one.
He starts pulling things from behind the bar. You see several bottles of very red material.
It's just straight chili.
Yes.
It's just straight chili oil.
No.
Chili oil with a bit of whiskey in it.
No, you actually see him pull out. He actually does specifically go for a bottle from Daniel's shelf behind the bar. A very red whiskey. Then he pulls out another bottle that appears to be some form of almost clear but red alcohol. Then a very thick red material. It's like a bunch of different stuff that you don't immediately know what it is, aside from the thing he got off the shelf was what Daniel served you guys before, which I believe was he referred to as Firebrand whiskey, also known as Fireball. But
I think I've got all of it.
there's a bunch of different types of cinnamon or heavily spiced.
Here it is. Dragon's Breath whiskey.
Oh yeah, this inexplicably named Dragon's Breath whiskey because dragons don't exist in this world.
It's just a fun name.
Yeah.
Has a nice ring to it.
Based off the Draconic language and the fact that that weird lizard people speak it, and they like spicy things.
Yes.
They're also one of the main producers of cinnamon in this world. It's weird. There's a lot of spices that only specifically grow in that desert for some reason.
Hey, man.
Anyways.
Monopoly.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to know why that temple is so wealthy? A lot of weird spices. Yeah, a lot of weird spices and a lot of very strange fruits grow there. But yeah. When he prepares this for you after shaking it and putting it into the glass, which by the way, he rims with a black salt or a black salt-like material. When you taste it, it's actually sugar. But he slides it over to you.
There you go. There's a forge mistress.
Ooh, thank you.
It's like this deep red drink, which consists of Fireball whiskey, cherry vodka, grenadine, simple syrup, pineapple juice, and tequila.
Fuck.
Pretty heavy drink in terms of proof. It's got a lot of strong alcohol in it, but the pineapple juice helps cut it back, and the sanding sugar on the top rim does definitely help cut the edge a little bit, along with the grenadine and simple syrup that's in it.
Yeah, there's a lot
Oh, but
of
I
strong
want it.
alcohol, but there's a lot of sweet.
Yeah, a lot of strong alcohol and a lot of sweet.
I want it.
I actually have the drink this is based off of. I'll send it to you after the game.
Much appreciated.
Not a problem.
Oh, and also good news. Jonathan's still alive.
Oh, that is good news.
Yep, they've got reports of him adventuring in the Starcrest Isles.
Huh.
What do you mean
Okay.
by adventuring?
According to them, he's very difficult to put down to one spot. So possibly, despite
Yeah,
sorry,
Jonathan's always had a bit of a wanderlust.
and so probably even despite his injuries, he's still gallivanting around some forgotten forest or something.
Yeah. Chances are high.
So now that both halves of the castaway are in port, and with Elavie back in command, they're probably going to repair that ship as best they can and send out to get him back.
It's gonna take a lot of work to get that thing back up and running, but
It's honestly not the worst it's ever been damaged.
yeah, I'll believe it. Yeah, it's not like one half of the ship or the whole thing went down.
Yeah. The brace in the middle is designed to be able to be broken.
Yeah.
So that's why both halves can sail independently. It's designed for that.
Yeah. It's technically designed to where that brace in the middle is supposed to be able to be extended or contracted as needed, depending on what the ship is meant to be building.
That's fair.
And beyond that, did a bit of selling, got the money that can pick up Lee some more of that medicine if we need it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Might not be a bad idea, just in case.
Yeah.
Yeah. Failsy, you said it was 150 gold?
Probably 150. We might be able to get cheaper if we don't need to get him such a heavy dose next time.
Yeah, you do specifically remember that the 150 was for a fairly strong dosage of that medicine.
Yeah, because we didn't know how bad it was, but we knew it was pretty bad.
It was
Bad enough to warrant concern.
Yeah.
Well, this one's on me. And he's just going to hand Failsy 15 platinum.
That's dangerous.
I'm picturing
Actually, you're right.
Yeah.
Gives it to Brimstone instead.
just Brimstone just kind of looks over at Osnig, who probably had like the most colorful, ostentatious drink besides Keta.
No, they have the exact same drink because they both wanted something ridiculously colorful.
Yeah. Yeah, Keta get the first, and Osnig's just want.
Pretty much. It is referred to as a Starcrest Sunrise.
Jesus.
It is a layered drink that is literally a rainbow.
Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
And each different layer is actually a different fruit-based flavored liqueur. Probably specifically a vodka, but
Ooh, that's
hard to
gonna
know.
knock you on your ass.
Look,
Yeah, it's made to. It's tiki drink.
Look.
Yeah.
He's a sturdy boy. He can take it.
He takes one sip and falls over dead. Because
Oh,
he's a
no.
goblin with
Oh,
no
no.
constitution.
Yeah.
He
I was about to say-
he has
I was
never
about to say-
experienced an alcohol.
Yeah, I was about to say, but Keta, but no, she actually has a modifier of positive,
She also has a history of drinking.
and is also bigger than Osnig.
Keta can get through 2 layers. Osnig takes 3 sips, passes out for 5 minutes, then wakes back up and goes in
Yeah.
for more.
He's just,
No constitution, but quick recovery.
I mean, he's a goblin. They get the shit kicked out of him a lot.
Yep.
So, Brimstone, you now have 15 gold to get
Or 50
another
platinum.
dose of stuff, or 15 platinum to get another dose of stuff for late.
Okay.
I don't know where all this distrust is coming from.
I was more saying he should go with you to buy it than not give you the money.
Hmm.
It,
Busty.
Hmm.
Hey,
It's
Felzy,
more
do you
of a-
want something?
Sure. Yes, surprise me as well.
Well, I would, but I have to leave.
Oh.
I'm sorry, but now I'm probably stuck and will have to be leaving because something happened,
Oh shit.
Okay.
and I don't know exactly what's going on, but oh well.
So we'll just call session here then.
Please. I've been passing out.
Yeah,
for
we're just
the
gonna
last
shoot the
hour.
shit with drinks anyway.
Yeah.
Alright. I'll
Okay.
talk to y'all later.
Bye.
Okay, you go ahead and go. We can handle closing the stream. Alright, so on that note, yeah, I guess we're just gonna have the characters kinda relax, shoot the shit, and drink for a bit. Maybe we'll pick up on that when we can next come back. Until then, that session. Okay.
Yes, we got to learn more about the history of the good boy.
Yee.
And also about Morrigan's patron and why we gotta go get the baby.
And the holy fuck.
Anyways.
Yeah, and none of y'all got to hear it, but Keta's mom got to hear some of why Morgan acts the way she does in certain situations.
I have to theory. It's because her dad's a dick.
Yeah. Not as much of a dick as Brimstone's dad, but yeah, her dad is a dick.
I mean,
With that, I don't have the links for Andy's normal shill, so if anybody has those and can give them to me, that would be greatly appreciated.
she's not online.
Okay.
I don't know what they are.
Okay. Well, I know the names, so don't have links for you guys this week, but you can catch Andy on Saturdays. I can't remember the time, but the channel is Latverian Citizen.
It's Sundays, 6 p.m. EST.
Thank you, Myth. What he said, where she plays her Blood Hunter Desire, I believe is how it is. I'm trying to remember and do the shill. Andy, if you listen back to this later and hear wrongly, I apologize.
I think something changed, but I don't know specifically. So yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah.
Go there to find out more.
Yeah. Does anybody else have any... thank you, Failsy. And also her friend, It's Me, Timothy.
Get it.
He do strum, he entertaining, he play Dead by Daylight. Does anybody else have anything?
I don't do the
Nope.
shows.
Nope.
Okie dokie, so then I guess that just leaves me. I hear an echo.
Fuzzy.
Alright, but I'm just... Felzy, can you mute yourself for a moment, please? Thank you. So, if you found tonight's session entertaining and would like to see more, then come back again next Thursday at or around 7 p.m. EST, where we will continue with Session 34 of Scattered Realms. Title for next session pending. That. Yeah. So would everybody like to say good night?
Good night.
Failsy, do you want to say goodnight or are you good? Failsy says goodnight. Alright, so good night, everybody. We'll see you